Hello everyone, this is Wrestling Watcher here, a YouTube channel that's about watching professional wrestling. So I've said recently that I was going to start putting out AEW content, and to be honest, I just haven't watched much of it this year. Bits and pieces, but I just haven't been interested. But I am a wrestling YouTube channel, and I said I would start watching it and putting out content. And I watched Collision tonight. I watched it on HBO Max. And the opening match was Jon Moxley versus Daniel Garcia. Garcia challenged Jon Moxley to a match last week. Now, I must admit, I thought this was a fantastic opening match. These two put in a lot of work, and I liked the story they told. Jon Moxley was the more dominant opponent, the more dominant wrestler, but Daniel Garcia kept getting in his spots, right? He kept looking good. He put on this variation of a sharpshooter. I believe they called it the Dragon Tamer, where once he's in the sharpshooter position, he takes the foot that's bent up, and instead of wrapping his arm around it and leaning back, he wraps his arms around it and then leans his whole body back, but the foot is sort of kept in front of him. It was an interesting variation to that maneuver. Now, it was a standard sort of finish where you're trying to protect someone, where Garcia had Moxley in a roll-up. It was a 2 count. Moxley reversed it, and the 3 count happened. And it's one of those finishes where you're trying to protect someone by not having them lose to a finisher or lose in a dominant fashion. They're trying to protect Garcia. And I found it interesting that, afterwards they had Daddy Magic on the call on this match along with Shivani. And Nigel McGuinness, too. I believe he was out there. I believe it was the 3-man booth for this match, at least. And it was interesting because they sort of played it off like he was just disappointed. He was really disappointed. He pushed Daddy Magic away. He sort of was unhappy with Shivani interviewing him. He grabbed the mic and he talked about 5 years worth of performances, great performances, but look where it's got me. And he walked off really dejected. Now, this is interesting booking. I have to wonder what Tony Khan's going with here. Is this the beginnings of a heel turn for Daniel Garcia? Because he was a heel there with that group Code Red. Daddy Magic was part of that. I forgot the other guy, but it was a 3-man group. And he started off as a heel there for a while. And then he stuck around being a heel in the Jericho Appreciation Society. But then he broke off, became his own man. And since then, he's become a babyface. The problem is, he doesn't really have a character. His character is he's just sort of himself. And he tries really hard. That's kind of his character. They haven't really... Maybe his promo skills aren't there yet. Maybe his overall charisma isn't there yet. I think that there's a charisma there. Just, his in-ring ability. He works hard every match. He just busts his butt every match. Every time I see him in a ring, he's working hard to have the best match he can. So in my mind's eye, I see that hard-working charisma. The guys that really worked hard in the ring to give you a great match. And I've been a wrestling fan for some decades now, so, maybe I see it differently. But, you got those guys in the ring that really, as I said, work hard. And, they'll give you 15, 20 hard minutes. And they're really sweaty, and you can tell they just really went out there and gave you the best they can. I respect his wrestling ability for that, which means I hope they can find a way to elevate him and get him over. Now, I know a lot of people are down on him, but I think there's something there. You just have to find the right character, the right storyline, the right thing for him. And maybe this is it. Maybe if he's a solo heel, that might do something for him. Or maybe he's just one of those performers where he's best in a group. You know, maybe you find some heel faction like the Don Callis family and put him there. Maybe that could do something for him. But I think there's something there. I think people write him off a little bit too much, and I hope there's more to this. Because that was a great opening match. That's going to be all for this one, guys. Thanks.